Morning, Arsene. How are you feeling ahead of your 20th season in English football?
Ready for a fight, and of course motivated to start well, because one of our targets is to start strong. And we had a good preparation that should give us needed confidence. But Premier League is a fight in every single game, so we have to prepare ourselves mentally for that, and come, of course, strong out of the block straight away against West Ham.
You say a good preparation. Can you remember a better preparation?
I don't really know. We had no basic problem in our preparation this season, and so every game went well. No, I cannot remember much better.
And the one piece of bad news would be Jack's problem. Real bad luck for him.
It's bad luck, purely accidental. It's a hairline crack in his fibula, certainly at the region where they took the screws off, and so I believe a straight injury, with a bony. That means there is no surprise there. Just needs time to heal. The news we got yesterday was that it could be much shorter than expected, because he's 2 weeks in the boot, and maybe after he can practice straight away again.
How's Jack?
Jack is of course down, but the good news yesterday helped him to cope with it.
Arsene, just on Jack, does it get harder for him each time he gets an injury? Because I know how much he was looking forward to the start of this season, just talking to him at the end of last season, and there was a real sense that this could be an important time for him. Does it get harder with each injury, do you think, or does he just get used to it?
You never get used to that, when you want to play football. You never get used to your body letting you down. He is the positive thing in this injury is that it's not a recurrence of one of his former injuries, and as well that the positive news with Jack is that the history doesn't play a big part when he comes back in his head. He plays with the same confidence, the same desire than before. But of course, it's different. We have all been at that age when you love to play football. When you can get up in the morning, cannot play, it's mentally difficult.
What about Alexis Sanchez? When might we see him? So I know he was obviously.
I don't know yet. I haven't seen. He came back quite in a surprisingly good shape, and so I will see. I think Sunday will certainly come too early, but in 10 days he should be all right.
What would be success for you this season, Arsene?
For me, success is to get the maximum out of the potential of the team. That is the real success. That means and do better than last season, because you want always to move forward. That means the target is quite high, because we won the cup last year. We finished third in the league, and so our target is very high. We want to fight for the Premiership, and that's our ambition, to win the Premier League. But we have to sustain that by performance and fighting spirit in every single game.
You said you're ready for a fight right at the start of this news conference, but because you've done so well in pre-season, is there any extra anticipation this year?
Maybe, but I think more that we have finished last year in a strong way. In the last year, after 12 games, we were 15 points behind Chelsea, and in the next 26 we took 58 points and Chelsea 55. So that means we missed our start of the season last year, and because it was after the World Cup, and let's see to start strong this season. And I believe we have needed ingredients, but we have a tricky start as well, because we played 2 derbies and Liverpool in the first 3 games, so we have a difficult schedule from a start on.
How would you describe the effect that Petr Cech's had so far? And I know he's not been here this long.
Look, he has integrated very well the team. He's a good communicator. He has experience, he has class, and he brought all that to the team. And I think gave as well strengthened belief of the team that we can do well.
We are in the transfer window. Can I ask about Karim Benzema? There's reports of an injury. Does that change your thinking about him in any way?
No, you think for me about that because I never came out on Karim Benzema, but it's just media talk.
Without necessarily naming names, do you feel your business is done, or are you expecting still to?
Look, at the moment we have not Sanchez, we have not Welbeck, and when these players come back, we feel that we have the needed striking force. But we don't rule out as well if something exceptional turns up to do it.
What do you make of the new disciplinary changes that are being introduced into the Premier League this season?
I feel quite positive about them. The first concerns part of it my behaviour because it's a technical area behaviour, and of course you want ourselves to behave in a proper way. And so we have to look at ourselves first and behave well. The second one I think is about simulation.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that because I feel it's important that to help the referees that they know that when the players go down that it is really a foul, you know. And anyway, what is good now with all the camera angles, it will be more and more difficult to simulate and to get away with it.
Just one last one from me. The Premier League seems to go from strength to strength. Do you think it'll be the usual suspects this year of 5 or 6, or can you see somebody else perhaps surprising the bigger clubs this time around?
I don't know. One of the team always every year, especially in the first part of the race, in the first half of the season, always one team gets in. Who will it be this season? I don't know. Last year it was for a long period West Ham, you know, when we played at Christmas at West Ham, they were fourth in the league. So it could be another surprise this season.
Arsene, just on those rule changes, what do you make of the new offside rule? Do you understand it?
Look, it makes sense, the new offside rule. The only problem in that it comes down to interpretation. And that will be a debate. Maybe that for me the next step on the video front would be the offside rule.
You have the fourth official looking at offsides.
Yeah.
Could the new rule open referees up to more criticism? So it does seem to be a kind of
Yes, because they are judged on every single decision now on in the media. But it is a rule that it can make it as well a bit easier for them, because sometimes when the guy attempts to play the ball for the live, you don't know did he really touch the ball or not. So this time, if he takes advantage of an offside position, even if he didn't, if he's close to reaction or impacts the response of the opponent, he will be given offside. So it can help them as well to make easier decisions.
You spoke there about who could challenge for the title this season. Who are favourites, would you say?
Look, Chelsea won it by a margin last year, so they are the favourites. But after that, let's see how it goes. After 15 games, you will know more about that.
Are you happy with the squad you've got now? You mentioned a moment ago about...
Yeah, of course, I'm happy with the squad I have. Very happy with the squad I have. But we always look to strengthen, and if that turns up, we will even still strengthen our squad.
If you don't strengthen, you think you've got the squad now that can win the title?
I believe yes. All going well, us develop our game. You know, that's important that we feel that we develop what we do well, and do not stand still. That means we develop our cohesion, our passing game. And if we are capable to keep the cohesion and the solidarity we have at the moment through the 38 games, we have a good chance.
As was mentioned, this is your 20th season at the club. How does this group of players, do you think, compare to some of the size squads you've had in that time?
I don't like to compare too much, but football evolves and the players evolve with that. But I was lucky during my 20 years to always have. I had always top players. You know, football has changed, and sometimes you go season after season, you don't realize that it changed. But when you look back 10 years, or 15 years, you realize how much it has changed. And but every year you just go with it.
Do you think there's greater expectation on Arsenal this season? There does seem to be more talk about you.
Yes, of course, but we enjoy that. You know, before we suffered sometimes from the fact that at the start of the season nobody considered us at all because we lost our best players. And this period is over now, so we are happy to be under this kind of pressure.
West Ham this year, compared to last season, new manager, lots of players have left the club. How do you think they do compare?
I believe that the manager changed and the squad not so much, but they added quality players, especially in Payet, who is a very creative and efficient player. And so overall, I think they have more potential than last season, offensively.
You talk about how strongly you finished the season last season and identified the start. Do you think a good start is the key to you winning the title this season?
It's an important part of it, yes. Look, we are competing with many teams and everybody else will want to start well, right? I think where we failed last year is at the start, not after.
What have you done anything differently in terms of your preparation to make sure you start better this time?
No, well, last year was down to the World Cup. Only to that. We had no... when we started the season, Mertesacker and Özil were not even back, and after we lost straight away Giroud, Koscielny, Özil for 4 months until December, and it was too much.
So in terms of preparation and the fact the season starts a little bit earlier this year, you've not done anything?
Look, I'm not a fan of starting earlier because I think it's a massive mistake for England to start earlier, 1 week earlier, and because anyway you have no Christmas break, and I don't know who came up with that idea, but 1 game less at Christmas deserves 1 week holiday less when you have especially the European Championship out after the season. It's completely unexplainable, and it is a decision once again that on the technical side we were not consulted at all.
What effect do you think it will have on the players?
I think it's just the difficulty nowadays is to find holidays for the players. In the FIFA rules, you have to give 4 weeks holiday to your players. If you want to do that, you start the season with the youth team, because all your players should be on holiday when you start the season. If you make it earlier and the competitions last longer, next season you will have a European Championship which plays with 24 national teams. That makes already the competition last longer, nearly lasts a month now, so we'll finish later and you will start earlier the season. That means the players have no holiday.
So why do you think you weren't consulted?
I don't know, because these kind of decisions are taken in meetings where we are not involved. But the rest for a player, a natural rest, every doctor tells you that, from micro contusions on the bones, takes 6 weeks to heal out completely. You had that in England before, but you never get, any player doesn't get that anymore at the top level. They get 2 to 3 weeks.
Arsene, I know you say that Alexis won't be ready for Sunday, but judging by last season, he seems to want to play every game. How difficult is it to tell him that he won't be a part of the squad?
Look, it's about my decision, that's all. After I think he came back in a good shape. Really, not be involved at all. I don't know yet on Sunday. Depends a little bit on what I see tomorrow, but and who will be available. But he understands that perfectly well. You know, I gave him. He's one of the players. He played the World Cup. Came back here, played the whole season without break. Goes to the Copa America, and basically cannot start the season. So at some stage you need to give these players a rest, or they get serious injuries.
Just on Jack Wilshere, you said you expect him back maybe sooner than you thought. What kind of time scale is it?
I count 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Just,
Thanks, everyone.
Sorry, Arsene, Serge Gnabry, is it that loan deal, is it going through?
Yes,
It's actually going to happen?
he's going to West Brom.
And it's going to be in the next, 24 hours confirmed, or what do you think?
I think we came to the medical yesterday. We will confirm it today.
Thank you.
Thanks all.